You know, we've been protesting for 2 years now, trying to get our rights back. Hello? Trying to get our rights back. We protested at the Dow, the Custom House, we've talked everywhere possible. But this is where we need to be. This is exactly, been getting away with it for too long. They have infiltrated every part of society, including the Catholic Church. They own Rome. They took over the Vatican, and they're in every business here. All Super Values, Supermax, every gun stores, they're all Freemasons, and they're all compliant to the New World Order. They want this, and we know that the Garda are a secret society amongst themselves. They are, yes, they are. They are. And in their oath, they're supposed to renounce Freemasonry, but believe me, they're not. They are running the show for the Freemasons. They are running the show. And if you go look at even that guard up there, you will see it has 666 lit on the side of it. They are out in plain sight. They're in the light now. And we have to expose them. We need a proper reformed Garda, and we want every stone in this building taken down. Because what's going on in there is disgusting. Satanic rituals happen in this building. They have a tunnel going into the Dow from underneath here. They really do. They control everything from this building. Everything. And there's over 200 lodges in Ireland. And we plan on going to each and every single one of them. And we want them out of here, gone from our country. These are destroyed them. Gone. 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 Yeah, I just want to say, we're all familiar that the British invaded our country way back in the day. And that army, the British Empire invaded our country, is more correct to say. That army persecuted our people for a couple of 100 years before the Freemasons arrived. The Freemasons were the administrative arm of the British Empire. And they were operated the same way that a mafia operates, with omerta and silence. So the armies of the British Empire destroyed our nation, raped our homeland, raped our people, and then the Freemasons came in and set up the administration that we are currently living under. It didn't change. These Gardaí here are actually registered to a corporation in London. That's who they work for, a corporation in London. You don't know that, yeah? It's the truth. They are. It's the truth. In the Good Friday Agreement,
service corporation.
Indeed. In the Good Friday Agreement, there was a clause put in on both sides of the agreement, one on the British side and one on the Irish side. And it was to remove a law that was made many, many years ago, which said that a Freemason could not be prosecuted by the legal system of any country. Now, the British removed that law from their books, but the Irish didn't. And the Irish still have a law that precludes the prosecution of a Freemason. That's why they're getting away with it. They know their own people won't prosecute them, can't prosecute them, because the law says they can't. And they know that they have to cover that up. So that's why our country is in such a state, because it believes it's a free country, but actually it's under the thumb of the Freemasons, right here behind us. That's what we're doing, guys. And they have been doing this all around the world for centuries. For centuries, where what they done, they took over the ports all around the world, France, Africa, Ireland, England, America, Australia, all over the world. And they got control of the ports. They also had control of many of the ships. They owned many of the ships. And they're the people who were shipping our food abroad to feed their people and starve our people. There was no famine in this country.
Genocide.
It was genocide. It was genocide. And peculiarly enough, the same people done exactly the same thing in India. They starved the Indian people. They done the same thing in America. They starved the Indian people there. Everywhere they went, they used starvation and genocide, or starvation and famine, as a method of genocide. They've done it over and over again around the world. And they're the very same people that are in charge of this building. So I want to talk to the Freemasons that are currently in Ireland and think that they're living with, or working with a good organisation or a philanthropic organisation. And what you need to do is you need to go back in history and find out where the Freemasons started. 1601. 1601, yeah, that's, yeah.
That's not the same.
Your man, Pike, Ebenezer was the son, the other fellow was Edward, was it? Or something Pike, the founder of the Freemasons. Ebenezer was the son that he sent over to
Cork. He became the sheriff of Cork, and the same family were the sheriff in Kilkenny, in somewhere in Ballina in Mayo. So basically, the Pike family, the founders of the Freemasons, took over all of the sheriff office all over our country, run by the British, to destroy our people. But the good Freemasons that are here working with these people today, they actually believe it's a philanthropic organization, and that's something that the Freemasons have done all along. They have always surrounded themselves with philanthropic and good and kind people out the front, and they're allowed to graduate to the next level and next level depending on how corruptible they are. So the Freemasons can determine which guy is going to turn into, who's going to be the most corrupt. Will they comply with the Freemason Lodge? And if they do, they can transcend the 33rd degree. But until then, they're just people who think that they're doing good, but they don't understand how their intentions are inverted by these people in this building. And it's going on all over the world, and it has to stop.
There's 5 Mariah vans that they're pulling in around the corner, so I'm just saying be careful. 5 Mariah vans full, alright? Do you remember last time we all got battered for nothing? When they're around the corner waiting, just put you away. That's why we're standing in each corner, because we're not fucking stupid. We're here to save our fucking kids. End of. Come on.
So I want to talk to those Gardaí that are up around the corner waiting to beat the shit out of us, if you don't mind for a minute. So what it is now, guys, we have, over the last couple of years, as Andy's been saying, we've been protesting everywhere, we've been getting arrested everywhere, we've been getting thrown in jail everywhere, we've been followed around by Gardaí everywhere, getting harassed by Gardaí all the time. So we've actually learned a huge amount about how to deal with the Gardaí. And you guys wouldn't believe how powerful you are when it comes to dealing with the Gardaí. Okay, so you got to think of it in this way. You guys have to live your life by the natural and common law. And that's the standard you guys have to live by. These guys have to live by that standard, and then they have to live by a code of conduct. They have a code of conduct inside the police station that they have to live by. And you can look it up and you can read it. It's very well worth reading, especially chapter 7 of the code of conduct, where it clearly states that a function of a Garda is to protect the rights of the citizen. That's what it says the function of a Garda is. What it doesn't say is that the function of a Garda is to keep you locked in your home. It doesn't say that the function of a Garda is to stop you bringing information to people. It doesn't say that you have to give up you can have to administrate a state that requires the natural rights of its citizens to be given up. So to those Gardaí that are sitting around the corner contemplating whether or not they're going to beat the shit out of us, I want to say to those Gardaí that myself and Andy and many others like us now, who you've been tormenting over the last couple of years, have learned how to deal with you. And what we can do is keep you very, very busy for 7 years, 8 years in a courtroom. Because we can take both criminal, civil and personal charges against each and every one of you for every time that you violate or seek to violate one of our rights. And it turns out that if you made money while violating my rights, you're guilty of fraud under the Theft and Fraud Act 2001. Isn't that interesting? Because that gives me the liberty to come after your personal assets. And that I will do. It'll take me a very, very long time, because the brass in the Gardaí have come up with a solution for the likes of me and Andy. And what they do is they adjourn the case, and adjourn the case, and adjourn the case. And they hope that I'll get sick of it and go away. But I've got news. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm getting worse. I'm getting more skilled. I'm getting more experienced. And I'm getting worse. I'm telling you that. So I promise you, that your brass will be all buddy-buddy with you for the first couple of years. But when they see that I'm still hanging around, and I'm still pushing, I'm still trying to get you convicted and put in jail, when they see that in year 3, things are going to change, and your assignments are going to get progressively more dangerous.
Now if we have Nuremberg 2?
Well, indeed, we could stop all of that by Nuremberg 2. That's up to you guys. Anytime you like, you can stop that process and arrest people in there, and we can all go back to our life as normal if you'd like. Or we can continue down this road, where every officer in the country will eventually get arrested, and the only solution that your superiors have is to adjourn the case. And by year 3, they're going to be getting sick of looking at me, and they're going to start giving you progressively more dangerous assignments, until eventually you find yourself in a house in Longford, with a suspect pumping bullets out of your own gun into your chest. Because that's what happened to that man. Now the other option you could take, what the brass will take after 5 or 6 years, when I'm still pursuing you, when I'm still pursuing your house, your car, I'm pursuing your job and your uniform. That's when Tesla will make a mistake in the paperwork and you'll become a convicted paedophile and you'll do time with the paedophiles in Mountjoy. And that's what's ahead of you. And that's what's ahead of those Gardaí up there around the corner with their battens drawn. You come down here and you draw your baton bait, and we'll see who'll win in the end. We'll see who'll win in the end, because it's not continuing anymore, lads. You have to stop violating our rights.
We have God on our side. We have God on our side. We have God. Now, there's not many places you can actually protest on a Saturday, because as we know, they're not open on a Saturday. But we can make a proper impact around the town. We don't have a permit for protesting, never did. The Yellow Vest does. We can go now, we can protest up and down Grafton Street all we like if we want, and get our voices heard. We need to get our voices heard, you know. So if you want, we'll get the speaker here and everything, and we'll go back down the streets and we'll let people hear, and we'll get the masks off the people's faces, and we'll let them know that they're not fucking slaves anymore. We have to let them know. Right, lads, let's get going again. Let's get going again. And we all stick together, okay? We must stay together. Everybody stick together, please, okay?
Back down, go down by the left down. Yeah, they're listening, be careful.
Who owns this?
That's an interesting one. This is an interesting one. If you're in a criminal action against someone who's violated your rights, you can put what's called a business lien on their assets. And for 99 years, they can't sell anything. They can't sell their asset until the dispute is finished. So look into that, guys. That sounds fun, doesn't it? That sounds like great crack. All right, guys. Where would you like to go? Have you got an idea?
GPO.
GPO?
GPO. Let's go to the GPO. Our stronghold, the GPO.
Yes!
My great uncle fought beside Michael Collins at the GPO. His name was Michael Lynch. Anyway, yeah, we go to the GPO. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys.